Hello, as it is the 24th day of February 2018, I'm going to talk about B2X and the Litecoin Cash. In this particular video, B2X, the code SegWit2X, up 0.2% in at $5.93. 306 is the price, 61,000 Satoshi, priced 7% against that of Bitcoin over the last day. Market cap, I don't know. Volume, 74,000 US dollars. That's not much. 74,000? Really? Okay, well, I can take a look at the I'm planning on taking a look at the markets, but wow, this is a Bitcoin fork, and we look at the chart, and I'm looking at a log scale. For a linear scale would look like that, and a log scale looks like that. This was the pre-market. I noticed this on the HIT BTC exchange, stating, oh, this thing could be worth good, 15%, 20%, but then it crashes down to 4%, 3%, and down, down, down. But when I looked at the webpage, it said that December 27th that the block fork was going to happen, which is right at this top, and we can see 0.06 is the price action, 6% of a dividend, and you know what? That's pretty decent. That's not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good if you can get 6%. And then it goes down, 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 and see where it says 0.01 here. Now you're talking about getting a percent at this long-standing range, and of course it's going to crash, and boom. Now you're talking about 0.18%, and it goes down and down and down, and now we're talking about 0.05%. It's just terrible. You figure if I probably had a little over 2 Bitcoin on December 27th on my hardware wallet, so I can get me about 12, 13 US dollars. Oh, let me scurry up and not do that. But a lot of volatility came in. Now we look at the markets. We have some higher prices here. We have $5 and $6 on the, I've never even heard of that exchange. HIT BTC is selling it for $71. YoBit has got it for $20. Now if you could arbitrage that, I know this is just weird. So HIT BTC is going about 70 bucks. YoBit's got about 19 and change. This is what I'm going to quickly do. I'm going to go on the YoBit site and even see how the wallet status looks. I want to even see how the Litecoin Cash wallet is. So I'm just going to pause the tape and resume back. And sure enough, deposit BTX. No free addresses for such currency. Please try again in 2 minutes. Well, I'm not going to try again in 2 minutes, sir. Okay, then let's now move back onto the chart and talk about Litecoin Cash. For obviously now, you cannot move these things around too well. Just a terrible, terrible coin. So keep that in mind too, because one of the comparisons that I'm going to be talking about is, first, there was never a pre-market for it to get started. And it always gets started with people, you can almost say it's the ultimate speculation when a market gets first available for trade. And when this thing came out, it gave itself good results, but the only people whom could trade it are ones, I guess, whom had Bitcoin in their YoBit account. Because I remember with Bitcoin Cash, they actually rewarded people several hours before the fact. I think it was closer to like 16, 17 hours. They paid people their Bitcoin Cash. And it was on the and they put right on the futures market immediately. And YoBit's an interesting site. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to say any more about them. Let's go to Litecoin Cash. It's now down 39% to $4.18. The proper way for me to look at this is at $41.80. For that is how much it is for one Litecoin, as you've got a 10-to-1 ratio. I am going to go to my parents today and see how their Litecoin Cash core wallets are doing. It's a very slow process to download, but I'm using a computer that's older than Bitcoin. So it's, and I'm doing that for a reason. I've taken a computer with no care, use of value, that if there's any kind of something I don't like about the program that's, we'll say, virus based. I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying if it happens to be, what are you going to take from this computer? And I'm only going to use it to get my Litecoin Cash in there and then transfer it to an exchange if I'm ever able, of course, to do such. Okay, well, let's just think of it right now. $40 on a coin that's worth around 200-ish is already that of 25%, and it's down 39. So when you were seeing this thing at like $8, $9, and I don't even know if it got to 10, I could actually see the chart here and see. Put US dollar in. It did get over 8. I did see Yobit over 8 or even 9. So I do know that it got to basically close to a full 50%-ish or so. So I generally only have the Bitcoin prices on here because they're the ones that are most important for me. After all, that's what I am trading against. So therefore, in this case here, when looking at, it's not going to be the easiest using Bitcoin to determine what kind of dividend you're going to get, because it's always going to be based on the Litecoin price. But as we've seen with the SegWit 2X on those stages, it went way, way, way down. I don't even know if I can still see Bitcoin Unlimited on here. I don't even think it's traded anymore. So I remember back in, I think it was March or April, probably March, that I actually had funds on there and they gave me the free coins. I didn't even realize it. I noticed, why is my bankroll so much higher on this side? I couldn't figure it out. And then many weeks later, I figured out, oh, they gave me free coins. And then I ended up selling them for just a small amount on the market because it went down, 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 and down. But, so yeah, that is something worth noting, because once everyone gets these, because here we have a bunch of people saying, oh my goodness, they're worth this much. And the way I look at it is, Litecoin Cash for me was worth it if it was worth at least like 75 cents, which works out to about $7.50. And even then, $7.50 on $200 is only about 3-4%. Basically what I said, that was the worst, lowest level to make it worth it to actually claim my dividend. We'll see, of course, if that will remain to work out to something good. Because if this thing goes down just 80%, then now we're going to be talking to be in that price target. Now within its markets, well, that's a new one. I haven't heard of Crypto Bridge until just now. Never ever heard of them. I'll take a look at them to see anything I can see about it. I can click on this and see what they're trading. Litecoin Cash, Smart Cash, which I'm trying to get back into it. I was going to do a video on it, actually. I didn't do it. Bunch of whole different altcoins. But I'm actually waiting for a really, really cheap price on it. I can't remember what my buy order is, but I can pause the tape and tell you. And it's 1,200 Satoshi I'm looking at. You know what? Let's talk about this coin, but I'm just going to take a look at the next one. So it's a bonus one. Do some technical analysis on Smart Cash, but before, just looking at some of these markets that they have. What's their volume? It's really low. Very low. They have a whole bunch of different codes, and they got an LTC market. Interesting. But again, the volume at $458. You know, C/CEX also has that Litecoin market too. I have no interest in that site. Now that site is always down. That's the primary reason. But even how it's an annoying site, put it that way, for my opinion. Smart Cash trading in at 23 cents and at 2,400 Satoshi. I'm looking for 12. So we'll let the chart load up. There it is. So this is a linear scale. So it was, I guess, one good reason to note when you see this on a linear, you know, before going to the log scale, is that it had one damn near good move to the upside. Let's take a look at it on the log scale. And now if markets look at a normal up, down, ABC reaction, however you want to call it. Higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, all that type of stuff. All right, so this is the market which I got into this as it was, I was buying it, start getting in at 200 back, and then it got this, managed to have a decent sized move. I got decent profit taking. I held on to a little bit as it was going down, and then interestingly enough, there was a day on Cryptopia where they probably was, that makes sense, it was down here. Let me just scroll in on this. Do we have any 1,200, 1,600 prices? Right here we do, yeah. I'm guessing it happened on January the 8th, where I logged onto Cryptopia, and they stated that the markets were closed, the trading markets, based on request of the developers. The price had hit major low numbers, where I see the bid-ask price at around 1,300, maybe 12, 1,400. I can't remember how low it was. And we can see it was falling from 28 and stabilized in the 28, 2,700 range. So I knew those were the prices. And when I seen that, I had Smart Cash on only one exchange, and it was not Cryptopia. It was on another one. So I ended up seeing that the price, when it was 1,200 there, markets closed, was at around 1,600, 1,700, I think, to sell. And I thought, you know what, if this is a small exchange, which it is, and they're just going to close the exchange, why don't I just unload what I have at 1,700? And it might even happen in here too, but the market just shot way up. It was like, oh, really? It got really, really high. And I did a video on that, which I wanted to, interesting, because I did the THC code. I did 2 videos on it. 1, do you want to get high? And 2, just the THC BTC analysis. And I never planned on doing the first one. It's just, okay, let's do my THC BTC, go over the key points that I did in that video. But before I do, what can I see on the weekly time frame? And I just scrolled it back the way I did. I'm like, oh my goodness, this just is a good video idea. Explains the point, it's entertaining, and so I did that. If you haven't seen it, you can see on my old ones, do you want to get high? Okay. So anyway, going back to this chart again. It had the major move up to 20,000 Satoshi. Just wild, wild move. And I was watching it without any... However, interestingly enough, I don't know how this happened. It did, though. I don't know how it worked. But on Cryptopia, all of a sudden, they gave me a few thousand of them. Like 3, I think. Decent amount of them, really. I don't know how I got them. Okay, so they just stayed there. However, the wallets were on maintenance, one side or the other. If it wasn't on maintenance on Cryptopia, and it was maintenance everywhere else. So I remember when I got a notice from what was available, I'm looking on every site where I could sell Smart Cash, and every single one had their wallet closed. Oh man, this is not cool. And then when it finally was able to come in, I was able to sell it around 4,000 Satoshi. So I got an okay amount, but I was looking at it before when it was like 12, 15,000. I was like, come on, hold these prices, but they didn't. That's fine. So therefore, I see 1,200 as a spot for where I want to buy. I'm going to do some Fibonacci calculations. So the question is, you know, the high you're going to use, it's going to be this one and here, the low you want to use. You could definitely use any major lows and going through big Fibonacci, and I think you have no choice but to use the lows in here. So I'm going to try to get the best number price I can. Again, I know this was around 20 on the high. So if I just click on this, I can see a low area at around 135. So I'm going to bring up my Fibonacci calculator. There it is. Enter first number, 135. So I want to get the second one. Again, that's around 20, but what I'll do again, I'll just focus on what happened in here. To see 24,173. I see a rehit again at 21. Then I see 2-time hit, so now basically 4. So I have to really use the 21 number here. So this is where you got 1-time hit 24, 2 hit, which appears to be low on 20, and then, yeah, I'm going to have to go 21. Probably maybe should reduce it even to a 900. How does a 3,000? And when you look at this, you see, okay, well, how valid is the 135.21 handle? You could do more advanced Fibonacci by using like the 85 and the 90.9%, which I didn't put on here because I don't use it too often. I could, and this would be a rare time where I would if I needed it, and I use my spreadsheet to calculate it in those cases. Although I could have put it below, but I don't want to spam too much data on here either. So I'm going to look at the 6382 and the 3054. If they work out to major levels, then I will reduce my buy order to probably 900. So 6,000 would be this level here. Okay. Supported long time, resisted. Validity, what number do we have again? 6382, really good. So how does the 3,000 handle do? Here's 3,000 right here. And here's 3,000 getting resisted. I'm going to adjust my buy order to about 900. Yeah, I got no choice. Okay, so I was going to entitle this video basically just the seg with 2x and Litecoin Cash, so I'm going to segue it for 3 different codes then. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.